Picture this: a sun-soaked afternoon on California's Highway 1, the Pacific Coast Highway, where the ocean sparkles like a sheet of sapphire to the west, and the air carries the sharp tang of sagebrush and salt. It's 400 p.m. on a warm May day in 2025, and a sleek black 1969 Porsche 911 slices through the coastal breeze, its 400 horsepower engine purring with restrained power. Behind the wheel is none other than Keanu Reeves, the action star whose quiet intensity has captivated audiences for decades. Beside him, in the passenger seat, sits Sandra Bullock, the Oscar-winning actress whose wit and warmth light up any room. These two Hollywood legends, friends since their heart-pounding days on a runaway bus in Speed, 1994, are headed to the Santa Barbara Film Festival, where they're set to speak at a fundraiser for aspiring filmmakers. But before we dive into the adventure that's about to unfold, let us know in the comments where you're reading from. Are you a fan of thrilling tales like this? If so, hit that like button and follow for more. Because tomorrow, we've got another epic story waiting for you. The scene is quintessentially Californian. The highway stretches like a ribbon along cliffs that drop into the churning Pacific, with seagulls wheeling overhead and the occasional palm tree swaying in the distance. Keanu, now 60, grips the steering wheel with the ease of a man who's logged countless hours on stunt sets. His dark sunglasses reflecting the golden hues of the setting sun, his reserved demeanor hides a deeper story, a haunting memory of a stuntman friend lost years ago in a fiery crash, a tragedy that fuels his vigilance. Sandra, also 60, lounges with a relaxed smile, her designer sunglasses perched on her nose. But beneath her charm lies a guarded side, a wariness born from years of dodging paparazzi and tabloid headlines. Their friendship, forged in the chaos of Speed and tempered by decades of shared laughter and late-night talks, is a rare constant in the whirlwind of Hollywood. Tonight's destination is the Santa Barbara Film Festival, a glamorous yet soulful event that draws artists and dreamers to the coastal city's historic theaters. Keanu and Sandra are guest speakers, lending their star power to a fundraiser for young filmmakers chasing their big break. Originally, they planned to drive separately from Los Angeles, battling the city's infamous gridlock to arrive at the red carpet on time. But Keanu, ever the free spirit, had a better idea. "Let's skip the traffic jam," he texted Sandra that morning. "Take the coastal route. Just you, me, and the open road." Sandra, never one to resist an adventure, agreed. And now here they are, cruising along Highway 1 in Keanu's vintage Porsche, the kind of car that hums with American muscle and nostalgia. Inside the car, the mood is light, filled with the easy banter of old friends. Sandra sips a Dr. Pepper she grabbed from a gas station earlier, her eyes twinkling as she teases Keanu. "This soda's got 23 flavors. You know," she says, holding up the can, "unlike your driving, which has exactly one John Wick stare." Keanu smirks, his hands steady on the wheel. "You're just jealous. I'm behind the wheel this time." "Not you," he retorts, a nod to their Speed days when Sandra's character wrestled a bus through. Besides, no bombs on this ride, so I'd say we're ahead." Sandra laughs, folding her arms. "Don't jinx it. Keanu, you know how our road trips go." Their laughter fills the car, a fleeting moment of peace before the storm that's about to break. The Porsche's dashboard suddenly flashes a warning low tire pressure, blinking red against the sleek interior. Keanu frowns, tapping the panel as if willing it to reconsider. "Speaking of jinxes," he mutters. Sandra glances at the gauge and chuckles. "Don't tell me the great Keanu Reeves forgot to check his tires." Keanu sighs, a playful glint in his eye. "I was too busy channeling my inner zen." Sandra points ahead, spotting a weathered gas station just off the highway, its faded Pepsi sign flickering like a relic from another era. "Lucky for you, there's a pit stop. Let's not tempt fate." Keanu nods, easing the Porsche off the road and into the station's gravel lot. The tires crunching against the uneven surface. The gas station is a snapshot of rural America, the kind of place where time seems to have stopped. A neon sign buzzes faintly, advertising ice-cold drinks, while a jukebox inside the convenience store hums a Merle Haggard tune, its mournful notes drifting through the open door. The pumps are rusted, and a rack of beef jerky sits by the entrance, promising authentic Texas flavor. Keanu parks the Porsche near a pump, the car's black paint gleaming under the afternoon sun. Sandra stretches, slipping off her sunglasses. "I'm grabbing a coffee," she says, heading toward the store. "You want anything?" Keanu shakes his head. Already kneeling to check the tire. "Just don't start a fan club in there," he calls after her, earning a playful eye roll. As Sandra steps inside, the scene shifts subtly, a tension creeping into the air. Parked near the pumps are 3 Harley-Davidson motorcycles, their chrome glinting with an almost menacing shine. The bikes are parked crookedly, as if their owners care little for rules. One bike, a black chopper, has a loose chain dangling from its frame, a small detail that catches Keanu's eye as he inspects the tire. His instincts, honed by years of martial arts and stunt work, prickle. He glances toward the store, where Sandra is pouring coffee, oblivious to the 3 figures watching from the shadows. These aren't ordinary travelers. Vince Malone, a grizzled ex-mechanic in his 40s, leans against a bike, his leather jacket scarred from years of wear. His resentment of Santa Barbara's gentrified elite burns hot, and Sandra's polished appearance marks her as a target. Joey Malone, his younger brother in his 20s, sports a fresh tattoo and a reckless grin, eager to prove himself. Lena Cruz, a wary woman in her 30s, lingers nearby, her loyalty to Vince strained by doubts about his escalating aggression. They exchange glances, their eyes following Sandra through the store's glass window. Vince mutters, "Hollywood royalty. Huh, let's have some fun." Inside, Sandra stirs her coffee, unaware of the brewing trouble. The store clerk, Mateo Alvarez, a 20-something dreamer with a screenplay tucked in his backpack, recognizes her, but stays quiet. Sensing the shift in the air, Keanu, still outside, straightens up, his gaze locking onto the bikers. Something's off, and he knows it. The stage is set for a confrontation that will test their wits, their bond, and their ability to outrun danger. But before we continue, what do you think happens next? Drop your guesses below, and stay tuned for the thrill right ahead. The bell above the gas station's convenience store door jingles as Sandra Bullock steps inside, the sound sharp against the low hum of a Merle Haggard tune drifting from a jukebox in the corner. The store is a time capsule of rural America, its flickering fluorescent lights casting a pale glow over narrow aisles crammed with Twinkies, motor oil, and a rack of beef jerky touting real smoky flavor. A faded Pepsi sign hangs crookedly behind the counter, where Mateo Alvarez, a lanky 20-something with a worn Padres cap, wipes down the register. His eyes widen as he recognizes Sandra, the star of countless rom-coms and thrillers. But he keeps his cool, tucking away dreams of pitching her his screenplay, a gritty drama he's been tweaking for years. Outside, Keanu Reeves kneels by the black 1969 Porsche 911, checking the tire pressure, his senses alert to the 3 Harleys parked nearby, their chrome glinting like a warning. Sandra, coffee cup in hand, heads to the ancient coffee machine at the back, its chipped buttons promising bold brew. She's still chuckling about her Dr. Pepper jab at Keanu, her designer jacket vintage denim, not flashy, swaying as she moves. The store feels deserted, save for the muted crackle of a baseball game on an old TV mounted above the counter, showing the Dodgers trailing by 2, but the air shifts as 3 figures enter, their boots thudding against the linoleum. Vince Malone, a grizzled man in his 40s, leads the pack, his leather jacket scarred from years on the road. Once an auto shop owner, He lost his business to Santa Barbara's gentrified sprawl. And now his resentment of Hollywood's elite burns like gasoline. Joey Malone, his 20-something brother, follows, a fresh skull tattoo peeking from his sleeve, his reckless grin masking a need to prove himself. Lena Cruz, a wary woman in her 30s and Vince's ex, trails behind, her eyes darting nervously, torn between loyalty and unease. Vince's gaze locks onto Sandra as she pours coffee, her polished presence a stark contrast to the store's grit. He leans against an aisle, his voice low and mocking. "Well, look at this. Designer jacket in a dump like this you lost." Beverly Hills, Sandra glances up, catching his reflection in the coffee machine's chrome. She's used to public attention, but the edge in his tone sets her on alert, forcing a smile. She quips, "This jacket's older than your bike. Pal, I'm just here for coffee." Her wit, sharp as ever, draws a chuckle from Mateo, who's pretending to organize a candy rack but watching closely. Joey, eager to impress, steps forward, blocking Sandra's path to the counter. "Coffee. Huh. Maybe stick around. We're more fun than your Hollywood boys." His grin is all teeth, and Sandra's grip tightens on her cup, her pulse quickening. Mateo, sensing trouble, steps up, his voice shaky but earnest. "Hey, free coffee refills for everyone. On the house." He holds up a pot, hoping to diffuse the tension. Vince shoves him back. Not hard, but enough to make Mateo stumble against the counter, his cap tilting. "Mind your business, kid." Vince snaps, his eyes never leaving Sandra. Lena, standing by the door, shifts uncomfortably, her fingers twitching as if she wants to intervene but can't. Sandra, now cornered near the coffee station, straightens, her voice firm but calm. "I'm good. Thanks. Just let me pay and go." She tries to sidestep Joey, but he mirrors her move, his boots scuffing the floor. The jukebox switches to a mournful Johnny Cash track, amplifying the tension. Outside, Keanu rises from checking the tire, his instincts screaming. Through the store's glass window, he sees the bikers closing in on Sandra, their postures predatory. A memory flashes his stuntman friend, trapped in a wrecked car, flames licking the frame. Keanu too late to help, his jaw clenches, the trauma fueling his resolve. He strides toward the store, his steps measured but purposeful, the gravel crunching under his boots. Inside, Vince leans closer to Sandra, his voice dripping with false charm. "Come on, sweetheart, don't be shy. Bet you're used to rude guys in L.A. But we're gentlemen." Sandra's eyes narrow, her wit a shield. "Gentlemen don't block the exit. Move." The bell jingles again as Keanu steps inside, the wooden floor creaking under his weight. The air shifts, heavy with anticipation. Mateo freezes, clutching the coffee pot. Lena's eyes flick to Keanu, recognizing the quiet intensity of a man who's faced worse than bikers. Vince and Joey turn, sizing him up. But Keanu's focus is on Sandra. A quick glance confirming she's unharmed but tense. His voice cuts through the silence, low and unwavering. "Step back. Now." The words carry the weight of his martial arts training, honed on John Wick sets. And even Vince, broad and menacing, hesitates. Sandra exhales slightly, her trust in Keanu absolute. Joey, defiant, smirks. "Who's this?" "Your bodyguard." Keanu doesn't flinch, his gaze locked on Vince, reading his resentment like a script. "You're done here," Keanu says, taking a step forward. The bikers shift back instinctively, a half-inch retreat they both notice. Vince forces a laugh, trying to save face. "We're just talking." Man, no need for the hero act, but Keanu's presence, calm yet unyielding, shifts the power. Sandra, seizing the moment, slips past Joey, coffee in hand, and heads for the counter. "Mateo, "Ring me up," she says, her voice steady. Mateo nods, fumbling with the register, his hands shaking but inspired by her composure. As Sandra pays, Vince overhears her mention the Santa Barbara Film Festival to Mateo, who whispers, "You're speaking there." "Right, saw it on X." Vince's eyes glint. He's found a lead. He grabs Joey's arm, muttering, "Let's go." But Joey, stung by the humiliation, glares at Keanu and spits, "This ain't done." Hollywood. Lena follows them out, her expression conflicted, avoiding Sandra's gaze. The bikers stride to their Harleys, engines roaring to life. But Keanu notes their lingering glances. He and Sandra exit, her coffee steaming in the cooling air. "That was intense," she says, half laughing. But Keanu's eyes scan the lot, the loose chain on Joey's bike catching his attention again. "They heard you mention the festival," he says quietly. Sandra's smile fades. "Great. Road trip just got interesting." The black 1969 Porsche 911 roars back onto Highway 1, its tires humming against the warm asphalt as Keanu Reeves grips the steering wheel, his eyes flicking to the rearview mirror. Sandra Bullock, clutching her now-cold coffee, sits tense in the passenger seat, her earlier quip about their road trip turning interesting, hanging heavy in the air. It's 4:30 p.m., and the California sun casts long shadows across the rugged landscape as they veer onto Highway 33, a 12-mile stretch of arid hills dotted with abandoned barns and rusted oil pumps. The Pacific's sparkle is gone, replaced by a dusty, desolate expanse that feels like the set of a Western showdown. Keanu's instincts, sharpened by years of stunt work and a haunting memory of a lost friend, tell him the bikers Vince Malone, Joey Malone, and Lena Cruz are not done with them. Sandra glances back, her heart sinking as she spots 3 Harleys 500 yards behind, their chrome glinting like predators in the fading light. "They're following us, aren't they?" Sandra asks, her voice steady but edged with unease. Keanu doesn't answer immediately, his gaze locked on the mirror. The bikers, led by Vince, match the Porsche's 60 mph pace, neither overtaking nor falling back, a silent confirmation of pursuit. Vince, fueled by his resentment of Hollywood wealth and the humiliation at the gas station, overheard Sandra's mention of the Santa Barbara Film Festival, giving him a destination to chase. Keanu's jaw tightens, recalling the loose chain on Joey's bike, a small detail that might matter. "They're not here for the scenery," he says finally, his tone calm but resolute. Sandra's fingers tighten around her coffee cup. "Great. Any chance they just want autographs?" Keanu's lips twitch, a faint smirk. "Doubt it." The highway stretches ahead, its curves winding through hills that cast eerie shadows. Keanu knows they're too far from Santa Barbara for police help, and the rural stretch offers no cell signal, a fact he confirms with a glance at his phone. Calling for backup isn't an option. They're on their own. To test the biker's intent, Keanu eases off the accelerator, slowing the Porsche to 40 mph, the speedometer needle dipping like a challenge. Sandra notices, her eyes flicking to the mirror. The Harleys slow too, maintaining their 500-yard distance, their engines a low growl. "They're not passing," she whispers, her pulse quickening. Keanu nods, his stuntman's mind calculating. They're waiting for a quieter spot. Sandra, ever resourceful, pulls out her phone, the screen glowing with a GPS map. "There's a dirt road shortcut up ahead. Maybe 2 miles," she says, zooming in. "It cuts through the hills. Gets us closer to Santa Barbara. Might shake them." Keanu glances at her, impressed. "You've still got that speed magic." Sandra smirks, despite the tension, just keeping the bus on the road. "Partner." The exchange, a nod to their 1994 blockbuster, grounds them, their bond a shield against the rising threat. Keanu accelerates back to 60 mph, The Porsche's 400 horsepower engine responding with a throaty roar, buying time to reach the shortcut. The dirt road appears on the right, a narrow path flanked by dry grass and sagebrush. Barely visible against the hillside, Keanu signals, then swerves sharply, the Porsche's tires screeching as they hit the gravel, kicking up a thick cloud of dust that swirls like a storm. Sandra grips the dashboard, her coffee spilling slightly. Warn a girl next time, she mutters, but her eyes are on the mirror. The bikers react instantly, their Harleys veering onto the dirt road. But the dust cloud blinds Joey, whose reckless speed betrays him. The loose chain on his bike, noticed earlier by Keanu, catches, causing the motorcycle to wobble violently. Joey curses, slowing to regain control, his silhouette fading in the haze. Lena, trailing behind, hesitates, her reluctance evident as she eases off the throttle, letting the gap widen, her loyalty to Vince phrase, her eyes darting to the dust-choked road. Vince, undeterred, surges forward, his Harley roaring closer to the Porsche. Now 50 yards back, the dirt road narrows, its curves favoring the bike's agility over the car's power. And Vince knows it. He reaches into his jacket, pulling out a heavy chain, its links glinting in the low sun. Sandra spots it first, her eyes widening. Keanu, he's got a chain, she warns, her voice sharp. Vince swings the chain overhead, aiming for the Porsche's rear window, his face twisted with wounded pride. Keanu, his stunt driving instincts kicking in, doesn't flinch. At the last second, he fakes a sharp turn to the left, jerking the wheel just enough to make Vince think he's swerving. The biker, caught off guard, overcorrects, his Harley skidding on the gravel, tires spitting dirt as he fights to stay upright. The chain flies wide, missing the Porsche by inches and clattering onto the road. Sandra exhales, her heart pounding. "That was too close," she says, her voice a mix of relief and adrenaline. Keanu keeps his eyes on the road, navigating a tight curve with precision, the Porsche's suspension absorbing the rough terrain. "They're not done yet," he replies, his tone steady but alert. Vince recovers, his bike steadying, but the skid has cost him ground. Joey, still struggling with his wobbling bike, falls further behind, shouting at the dust cloud. Lena, now a distant speck, seems to deliberately lag, her hesitation a crack in the biker's unity. Keanu seizes the moment, accelerating to 70 mph, the Porsche kicking up more gravel to obscure the biker's view. The dirt road's end looms, a junction back to Highway 33, where traffic and civilization offer safety. Sandra checks the GPS, her voice urgent. "Half a mile to the main road. We're almost there." Keanu nods, his hands firm on the wheel, every move calculated. The bikers' engines growl faintly now, their pursuit faltering in the face of Keanu's maneuvers and the unforgiving terrain. Sandra glances at him, a flicker of admiration in her eyes. "You've still got it, bus driver," she says, echoing their speed days. Keanu's smirk returns, fleeting but real, just keeping us on the road. The Porsche bursts onto Highway 33, tires gripping asphalt again, the hills giving way to open fields. The Harleys don't follow, their silhouettes lost in the dust. For now, the chase is over, but Keanu's grip on the wheel doesn't loosen, and Sandra's eyes stay on the mirror, knowing Vince's pride won't let this end easily. The black 1969 Porsche 911 cruises onto a two-lane road, its engine a low growl as Keanu Reeves steers toward Santa Barbara. The dust of Highway 33's chase settling behind them. Sandra Bullock, her coffee cup now empty, scans the rearview mirror, half expecting the roar of Harleys to break the evening's calm. It's 4:45 p.m., and the California sky glows with the first hints of dusk, painting the rolling hills in shades of amber, 5 miles from the Santa Barbara Film Festival. Keanu spots a neon sign flickering ahead, Maggie's Roadhouse. A squat diner with checkered curtains and a gravel lot packed with pickup trucks and sedans. "We need a breather," he says, his voice steady but cautious. The memory of Vince Malone's chain attack still sharp. Sandra nods, her wit resurfacing. "As long as they serve better coffee than that gas station." Keanu pulls into the lot. The Porsche's sleek frame a stark contrast to the rusted Fords and Chevys. Maggie's Roadhouse is a slice of Americana, its interior warm with the scent of apple pie and frying bacon. Checkered tablecloths cover wobbly tables, and a jukebox in the corner spins Dolly Parton's Jolene. The melody, weaving through the chatter of diverse locals, a black trucker nursing a Coke, a white retiree reading a newspaper, and a Latina family sharing fries. At the counter, a sheriff's deputy, his badge glinting under fluorescent lights, sips black coffee, his radio crackling softly. Keanu and Sandra slide into a booth near the window, the vinyl seats creaking. Sandra exhales, her shoulders relaxing for the first time since the gas station. "Feels like we stepped into a Springsteen song," she murmurs, eyeing the jukebox. Keanu, his sunglasses off, scans the lot through the window, his stuntman's instincts on edge. Let's hope it stays that peaceful. Their moment of respite shatters as the growl of Harley engines cuts through Dolly's croon. 3 bikes roll into the lot, their headlights slicing the twilight. Vince Malone, his leather jacket dusty from the chase, dismounts first, his eyes burning with wounded pride. Joey Malone, his tattooed arm tense, follows, still smarting from his bike's wobble on the dirt road. Lena Cruz, her expression conflicted, trails behind, her boots scuffing the gravel as if reluctant to approach. Sandra stiffens, her hand pausing on her water glass. "They don't quit, do they?" she whispers. Keanu's jaw tightens, but he remains seated, watching as the bikers linger near the Porsche. Vince's gaze locked on the car. The deputy, noticing the new arrivals, sets down his coffee, his hand resting near his holster. Vince, sensing the diner's eyes on him, hesitates. He mutters to Joey, who nods and pulls a scrap of paper from his pocket, slipping it under the Porsche's wiper. The note, scrawled in Sharpie, reads, "See you in Santa Barbara." It's a taunt, a promise of retribution. But the deputy's steady glance through the window stops Vince cold. The trucker and retiree look up, their faces hardening. A silent message of community solidarity. Lena, standing apart, avoids Vince's gaze, her fingers twitching as if fighting an urge to walk away. Vince, outnumbered by the diner's quiet strength, signals to Joey. "Let's roll," he growls, climbing back onto his bike. The Harleys roar to life and peel out, leaving a cloud of dust. Lena lingers a moment, her eyes meeting Sandra's through the glass, a flicker of regret passing between them before she follows. Keanu rises, striding to the Porsche to retrieve the note. He reads it, his expression unreadable, then tucks it into his pocket. Sandra joins him, her voice low. "They're headed to the festival, aren't they?" Keanu nods, his mind racing. "We'll beat them there." The deputy, now outside, approaches, his tone calm but firm. "Trouble with those bikers, Keanu." Choosing discretion to avoid tabloid drama. Shrugs. "Just a misunderstanding. We're good." But he notes the deputy's badge number. A plan forming. They return to the Porsche. The engines rumble, a promise of control, as they speed the final 5 miles to Santa Barbara. The festival's lights glowing on the horizon. The Santa Barbara Film Festival buzzes with energy at 700 p.m. Its historic theater aglow with red carpets and camera flashes. Keanu and Sandra slip through a side entrance, avoiding the paparazzi swarm. Inside, the crowd, filmmakers, actors, and locals, mingles under chandeliers, their chatter mingling with a jazz quartet's soft notes. Keanu, ever vigilant, spots a security guard and pulls him aside, describing Vince's distinctive skull tattoo and the biker's threat. "They might show up," he says, his voice low. The guard nods, radioing his team to watch the perimeter. Sandra, meanwhile, prepares for her speech, her notes crumpled from the day's chaos. She catches Keanu's eye, a silent thank you for his protectiveness, and he returns a subtle nod. Their speed-forged bond unspoken but strong. On stage, Sandra takes the mic, her presence commanding despite the day's ordeal. Courage in chaos. She begins, her voice steady, is what makes stories and people endure. Whether it's chasing a dream or facing the unexpected, it's about standing tall. The crowd, unaware of her real-life test, erupts in applause, her words resonating with the festival's theme of resilience. Keanu, standing at the back, scans the room, his eyes catching a figure outside the theater's glass doors. Lena, alone, her Harley parked nearby. She sets her leather jacket on a bench, a deliberate act, and walks away, her silhouette fading into the night. It's a signal she's done with Vince's vendetta, choosing her own path. Sandra joins Keanu after her speech, a glass of sparkling water in hand. Did I nail it? Or what she asks, her grin masking the day's strain. Keanu smiles, genuine but guarded. You always do. He doesn't mention Lena's exit, letting the moment belong to Sandra's triumph. The festival continues, laughter and music filling the air. But Keanu's mind lingers on the note, the tattoo, and the deputy's badge. Vince and Joey may still lurk, but the community's strength, Mateo's bravery, the diner's solidarity, Lena's redemption has tipped the scales. For now, they're safe, and the night belongs to courage, not chaos. The Santa Barbara Film Festival's lights fade behind the black 1969 Porsche 911 as Keanu Reeves guides it back onto Highway 1, the Pacific Coast Highway, stretching like a ribbon under a sky ablaze with the hues of dusk. It's 9:00 p.m. on May 7th, 2025, and the California air carries a cool edge, scented with salt and the faint musk of sagebrush. Sandra Bullock, her festival speech on courage in chaos still echoing in her mind, leans back in the passenger seat, her designer jacket folded on her lap. The Porsche's radio crackles to life, Tom Petty's Running Down a Dream filling the cabin with its gritty guitar riffs, a quintessentially American anthem of freedom and resolve. Keanu's hands are steady on the wheel, his sunglasses replaced by the quiet intensity of a man who's faced danger and come out stronger. Sandra glances at him, her wit a shield against the day's lingering tension. Well, we survived bikers, a chase, and my speech. I'd say we're batting 1,000. Keanu's lips curve into a faint smile, but his eyes flick to the rearview mirror, scanning for the Harleys of Vince Malone, Joey Malone, and Lena Cruz. The gas station confrontation, the dirt road chase, and the diner standoff at Maggie's Roadhouse feel like scenes from a movie they've lived through. Their speed-forged bond tested and unbreakable. Vince's note, "See you in Santa Barbara," and his skull tattoo are burned into Keanu's memory. But so is Lena's quiet rebellion, leaving her jacket behind at the festival. The day's events, from Mateo Alvarez's bravery to the diner's community strength, have woven a tapestry of resilience, a theme that resonates as deeply as Sandra's speech. But Keanu knows the story isn't over until Vince's threat is neutralized, and he's already taken steps to ensure it. At the festival, while Sandra charmed the crowd, Keanu had a discreet word with the sheriff's deputy from Maggie's Roadhouse, whose badge number he'd noted. Vince Malone's on parole, Keanu had said, his voice low, describing the biker's tattoo and the chain attack. Might be worth a check. The deputy, recognizing Keanu's calm authority, nodded, promising to relay the tip. Now, as the Porsche cruises at 55 mph, Keanu breaks the silence, his tone measured. I called in a favor with the sheriff's office. Vince's parole violation won't slide. Sandra raises an eyebrow, catching the glint in his eye. You sneaky bus driver. You. When did you pull that off? Keanu shrugs. A hint of his John Wick stoicism. Between your speech and the champagne. Sandra laughs, the sound warm against Tom Petty's chorus. Next time. I'm picking the gas station, she says, her tone playful but grateful. Somewhere with better coffee and zero bikers. Keanu's smirk widens, his hands steady on the wheel. Deal, as long as I drive. The banter, rooted in their decades-long friendship, feels like a victory, a reclaiming of the peace disrupted by Vince's vendetta. Sandra leans forward, turning up the radio, the lyrics running down a dream that never would come to me, echoing their defiance. She looks at Keanu, her voice softening. You're still my bus driver. You know. Keanu glances at her, his eyes warm with unspoken loyalty. Always. The Porsche's taillights glow red against the darkening highway, a symbol of their resilience, like embers refusing to fade. A mile down the road, a sheriff's cruiser passes in the opposite direction, its lights flashing briefly in the twilight. Keanu catches it in the mirror, a subtle nod to himself. The cruiser's presence hints at Vince's reckoning, perhaps a parole check at a biker haunt. Joey in tow, their plans unraveling under the weight of justice. Lena, having walked away, is likely miles away, her jacketless silhouette a testament to redemption. Sandra doesn't notice the cruiser, her gaze on the ocean's faint shimmer to the west. But she senses Keanu's quiet confidence, a reassurance that the danger is fading like the day's light. The highway curves gently, the Porsche hugging the asphalt with the grace of American engineering, its 400 horsepower heart a steady pulse. The landscape, now cloaked in twilight, evokes the vastness of California's coast, where dreams and dangers collide. Keanu's trauma, a lost stuntman friend, lingers in the back of his mind. But today's victory, protecting Sandra and outsmarting Vince, is a step toward healing. Sandra, her vulnerability guarded by wit, feels the weight of the day lift, her trust in Keanu a cornerstone. Their journey, from a gas station trap to a festival triumph, mirrors the stories they've told on screen. Ordinary moments turned extraordinary by courage and connection. As the Porsche fades into the horizon, its taillights winking like stars, the scene is a final image of endurance, a testament to facing chaos and driving through it. The radio fades, Tom Petty's voice a lingering echo, tying the moment to America's love of the open road, where every mile tells a story. Keanu and Sandra, bound by a friendship stronger than any threat, carry on, their laughter a quiet defiance of the day's shadows. The sheriff's cruiser, Vince's downfall, and Lena's choice weave a web of justice, subtle but certain, ensuring the biker's threat ends here. Before we close this tale, a heartfelt thank you to you, our audience, for riding along with Highway Shadows. Your support fuels these stories, and we'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment with your favorite moment, whether it's Sandra's wit or Keanu's cool-headed moves. If you enjoyed this thrill ride, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell, because tomorrow, we've got another epic adventure waiting to rev up your imagination. Share this story with friends, and let's keep the road trip going. For now, the Porsche's taillights vanish into the sunset, but the spirit of resilience and the bond between two Hollywood legends burns bright, lighting the way for whatever lies ahead.